Hello and welcome to Aufhören, der Podcast. Aufhören is German and means quitting, and that's because I started this podcast in a time where I also quit a lot of things. My name is Sophia, and this podcast is about spirituality, business, and everything in between and beyond. Do you want to grow, evolve, accelerate, and expand? Then this is for you. This is Rosalie's slogan, and Rosalie is the guest in the show today. I was so happy to receive her because I follow her since a few years on Instagram, and I can really feel that she herself expands in a very authentic way. Rosalie is a yoga teacher, and she's not just a yoga teacher, but she is a multifaceted being that has also more than one profession, all of them self-employed. And I think that's very inspirational. So I invited her and I asked her a lot of questions. And in this interview, you can hear us talking about her virtual retreat that, by the way, you can still sign up if you hear this on the date that the podcast is released. Her path, her yoga path, how she became a yoga teacher, and what she likes about Yin Yoga. We talk about, yes, you can be more than one thing and you can have several passions and professions. We talk about how it is to be self-employed, and I also share a bit why I rather choose to create my own job. And we talk about the money stigma in the yoga and mindfulness industry is one of my favorite topics. We talk about obstacles and challenges on the path of entrepreneurship. And we talk about Bali. I wanted to ask her about Bali because Rosalie also lives in Bali. And so she shares a little story from there. On top of all of this, she gifts us one health hack that is also included in her virtual retreat that she co-hosts with two friends. And at the very end, she guides us in a little breathwork experience, and it's super nice. So now I wish you a great time. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Check out the show notes in case you're interested and you want to know more about Rosalie. You can find everything there. And now I send you a lot of love, and bye. Let's go. Hello, Rosalie.
Hi.
Welcome to my podcast. Welcome to Aufhören, der Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure to receive you here. I think we have many things in common, and I follow you since a few years on social media, and because of that I have some estimations about you, and I'm so curious to find out more about what's true and what's not true. And yeah, so we both live in Berlin and on an island. You live in Bali and Berlin. I live in Cape Verde and Berlin. We both love yoga. And yeah, we have one friend in common also.
We do. Blessings to Ray.
I'm really happy to receive you here. And yeah, one of the things I find just from watching you, like being your true follower and fan since a few years, I find it really inspirational how I have the feeling like you're not pretending to be something you're not, but you're slowly transforming into your path and you're taking your time to build up whatever that is. And for me, it's such a pleasure to observe that because it has this element of
like also slowness and allowing a process to be beautiful in every step and to unfold it. So that's why I really love following you on social media. And yeah, I would love to learn more today about your path, where you're coming from, where you're going. I want to know what your future is. What
I want to know as well what that is like. I have no idea.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am very humbled and happy to have received that invite. I was super curious to learn more about what we're going to talk about when you sent me the invitation. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Where are you right now? And how do you feel? How's your heart? What are you doing? What are you working on? What are you curious about to do?
So many questions. And so right now I'm in my parents' house in the south of Germany. I had to do a little getaway from Berlin. I had a bit of cabin fever. And since I can't really leave the country, I drove down to my parents' house. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's beautiful. There's like a huge garden and like, you know, just like forests around and stuff. And so yeah, I'll spend a week here. And basically I'm doing a little workation because I have just so many things to do right now. And because of the whole situation, I felt a little bit like I didn't have enough space in Berlin to work because I can only stay in my apartment. So yeah, I just came down here to see my family and hang out in nature and work on a very special project that I initiated and that I co-create with two of my friends. And it's a little bit of a short notice kind of birth that we just created with that thing. So I'm basically working 7 in the morning to 10 in the evening or to midnight even sometimes. It doesn't really feel like working because there's so much passion there and so much creativity and so much will and love to, you know, put into that, but still it's a lot, which is why, yeah, again, I came down here to just like sit in nature and work.
I think I know what that special project is. It's what you've announced recently.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're co-hosting a virtual retreat. And I've been wanting to do something similar for a long time. Obviously not virtual, but now with this situation, well, I guess we all do. We just have to kind of like rethink all the structures and all the plans and all the things that we thought we will and want to do. And so just most of that stuff now is not possible anymore, right? It's like, and then we're stuck in our houses and can't do anything because of Corona. So yeah, you just have to rethink and restructure and, you know, start fresh and just make some changes and just like be progressive with your ideas, I guess. So now we're doing a virtual retreat, yeah, and so that will be in 2 weeks already. So we created the concept already, and it's like all of us. So it's me and two really close friends who are also yoga teachers. And we all said basically, damn, I wish I could take the retreat and I didn't have to teach it because the concept is so nice. I wish I was there as a student as well. So obviously we are very passionate about the project, yeah. And we launched it just yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most important things for me also when I create something or when I work on something is that it's very attractive to me. I like putting energy in it. If I like hanging around my own project because it's so sexy, then
exactly.
Give and give. Nah?
It has to be so sexy you want to lick it. Like otherwise it doesn't work because you really have like being, you know, doing this kind of work, it takes a lot of work to do that and a lot of energy. And also you really cannot see, like if you get scared off by things when they're getting difficult or when people tell you it doesn't work, then this doesn't work as well, right? So you really have to be so passionate about it and just really not even give a fuck if it, you know, if it is a tricky situation. And then this way, it doesn't really feel like work. I mean, yesterday I went to bed at midnight and I had a 4-hour call, and it felt like just went by like this, yeah? Because you want to do it and you want to nurture the project and you want to spend your time on it.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to know more about the details of the project a bit later in the conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
We can go a few steps back and start a bit with your yoga path. Like, I know that you love Yin Yoga, or that you teach Yin Yoga, that you like this. Maybe you can share a bit with us why Yin Yoga, what fascinates you so much about Yin Yoga, and yeah, maybe we can start with this.
Yeah, let's start there. I mean, it hasn't always been like this. I'm not the typical yin type of person. I am in a way because I'm very feminine and I have the yin energy, but I'm also very much type A personality. And I'm like, my personality is much more like vinyasa, if you would want to categorize in yoga right now, right? Because I mean, I trained vinyasa first, and that's all the classes that I went to when I was younger. It was all like the dancey, flowy kind of classes. And yin was very much boring to me because I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand the true purpose of it, and I didn't understand the depth of it. And it came later in my process. I've been practicing for a good handful of years. And that's then at some point when I really, I guess probably also because I had for the first time a really good teacher who could facilitate a proper good yin class and take you to that depth. And that's only the time when I understood what it's really about. And I very slowly fell in love with it because it has a very much therapeutic aspect. And yeah, I think also when I just naturally dove deeper into not only the asana practice, but, you know, the philosophic aspects and nutrition and like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and like, you know, all these type of things. And then naturally Yin Yoga will pop up here and there anyway, because it correlates with Taoism and with Chinese medicine. And at some point I had like a toolbox of certain aspects and informations from that realm in general. And then I kind of really had the natural access to Yin Yoga. Yeah, and then I decided to do the training, and then I started teaching it. So Yin really is only like my thing since maybe 3 years or so, yeah.
Can you take us back even deeper? Like, how were you before you practiced yoga? And how did your world change when you started practicing yoga?
Well, so, I mean, there are so many different aspects because I started practicing yoga, I think, when I was 17, 18, which is also the time when I started traveling for longer periods of time and also regularly. And with that, naturally, I just instantly went to places and met communities and people that introduced me to that whole world. And it was also a time when I was just starting my studies, living in Vienna, having a not so healthy lifestyle, and, you know, just regular things that you're dealing with when you're in your early 20s. And when you kind of just like live more on the wild side of things, but are actually very much sensitive and open. And so I kind of was naturally not even drawn, but pushed in that direction because I really needed that as well for healing. So I started practicing maybe like the typical kind of path, let's say going to a yoga studio once a week being 17, 18. And then when I started traveling and really diving deeper into the practice and having mentors and teachers and, you know, the community of people and also the knowledge then, so that it's not just like a studio class, but like having deeper access to that. It really formed my, it did form my being, but also I was growing up. I was in my early 20s, so it's hard to pinpoint if yoga did this or if I was just, you know, being a 20-year-old figuring shit out and also, you know, finding the path of yoga. So it's not that simple.
But so you're practicing yoga since quite a long time. It's not me, the typical yoga story is mine. Being very lost in life until the mid-20s, like partying a lot here and there, having crazy boyfriends and whatever. And then all of a sudden, there's something else. I can also be still and feel myself. So you practice yoga since you're 18. That's amazing. How old are you now?
I'm 32 now, but I mean, what you just mentioned, I'm going to be very blank honest here as well. This is also what happened with me, right? I was super wild. I was like living a very hedonistic and very self-destructive lifestyle in a way as well. And because I'm just an extremist in all the ways. So when I'm drawn to this, to be wild and to the darkness and just like to see all the worldly things, on the other side of the spectrum, I'm also very much like receptive for all the other things, and with a more healthy being, more drawn to that way then, but also dancing on both sides of the spectrum, because I think that is very important. I don't strive to live like a Buddha sitting on a mountain meditating, not talking to people and rejecting the worldly life. That's not what I'm aiming to do. So now I think it's more about the balance and having access to both in a healthy way, you know.
When was it for you that you noticed that you want to teach also, and that you maybe want to make it your job?
Well, so I think I did my first teacher training in my mid-20s. I did that in Nicaragua, and that was a very profound experience. The whole trip to being in Nicaragua, the whole training was really good training. I'm going to have to say that. It was with Megan Curry. I can only recommend. She's a really good teacher and a good mentor in that way. And I think then already I knew, because naturally when you feel something is so meaningful to you and you also feel like this is something you want to share, right? And I mean, making this my job, I think it just came naturally with, you know, training and then actually teaching and, you know, just becoming aware of how it feels to teach and also of the feedback and what people, you know, share then their experience when you teach classes to them. And it's just, you know, it's a ping pong of how it makes you feel and how then people also respond to it. And it just became very clear very quickly that this is what I want to do. I mean, I never said I want to be a full-time yoga teacher, because I am mostly always in life wanting to have, like, I'm very diverse in my being. So I would never, I'm even not saying I am a yoga teacher. I say I teach yoga, right? So I never wanted to do just that, but I always knew that that is one path that I definitely want to take. And so I did.
Yeah, that's something that I could always sense about you in your social media profile.
Which part?
That you're more. And for me, follower, there was always this element of mystery somehow, because I knew that. I was wondering, what else is she doing? There must be something else she's doing. And I was always curious to know, like, she's a yoga teacher. I'm going to say it now. She's a yoga teacher. And what is the end? I want to know. And I think just a few months ago or weeks maybe, you announced that you're going to share your website, and now your Instagram handle has also changed. And I know what the end is, that you're also doing like creative consultancy and marketing work or something in this direction. And yeah, this I find so inspirational that you don't need to choose. It's, I think, I remember when I started doing yoga and it was late compared to you, ne? I was also a bit scared and intimidated because I thought that when I start loving it more and more, I will let go of everything else that I love. And that was scary to me, that I was scared to take the next step in doing yoga because I was scared that this means that I cannot be anything else.
You were scared to love it too much? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was scared to dare to love it more, even though I felt I wanted it, because I saw so many examples of people around me, of like teachers or examples who let go everything else that they are also. And that's why I think it's so nice and inspirational to have people who teach yoga and something else and do something else.
It should never be, well, nothing in life ever should be a limitation. It should just be like an addition to, and like an expansion, right? Not a contraction. Why wouldn't you ever want to be this end?
Yeah.
Because we all are. You just have to dare to listen to that and give your energy equally, you know. Or I mean, there are people who just decide, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, and this is me and this is all I am. That's cool if that's fulfilling to them, but I am not that kind of person, and I think also you are not. So that works for me well to, you know, dance like a little bit like a butterfly from certain things that I choose and pick that really resonate with me. And you know, it's a creative process as well. Like you need different outlets for different skills and talents and interests, basically. So
yeah, I think it's very nice that you say this. For me, it was not always that I could just enjoy myself being interested in many different things. I had a lot of like negative self-talk around this. I thought that if I cannot focus on one thing, I can never become really good in one thing. I need to be focused. It cannot be, I cannot be many things. And
but that's for conditioning, because you know, society or people like to tell you that like a one-way kind of street is the way to go. It's the wheel that you know, people think they have to hop on, but I mean,
yeah,
do you?
no.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your other job?
What is my other job? Well, so also that is not categorized into one thing, but because it really also depends on the client and the project. But I am doing anything and everything between, let's say, brand building, brand consulting, creative direction, content. I also do production for photo and videography. And so now I am more specified. So now I'm going to say I work with brands or individuals from the industry of, let's say, well-being, health, yoga, lifestyle. And I'm going to add in fashion as well, just because that's my kind of thing as well. But so the work, it really depends on the individual or the brand, right? But it's going to be in between creating content and creative direction, marketing, those kind of things. Yeah.
And how did that happen for you?
Well, I did study that kind of thing as well when I was in uni, and I just I have a thing for like photography and videography. That's just, I just love that, and I'm a very aesthetic kind of, I love aesthetic things, and content is interesting to me, you know. And also it's a very specific way of working. I mean, I would never do, or I don't do just regular marketing strategies for XY company. but really working very closely with a brand or an individual and just really like shining a light on their core essence and what it is that they want to transport and what it is that they stand for, and then finding a very creative and eclectic and authentic way to transport that to the people. I think that's a beautiful work, and I love that, because each project and each client is so different. Like I never look at it in a way, oh, I'm going to create a strategy now for this and this and that. I am sure, but I'm working with a human being, you know? So it's a very creative and a very individual process each time as well.
That's so beautiful. I feel like actually the two, what you do is very much also connected. I feel like when you talk about doing creative consultancy, oh, all right, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. I had a really beautiful question, but then the electricity was down, and now we had a 1 hour break, and now we're back.
Exactly. Glad to be back.
So you just finished sharing about your kind of two professions, and I felt a bit like when you were talking about your work as a brand consultant, as creative direction and content creator, if I wouldn't know what you would talk about, it could have also been talking about teaching yoga. It sounded a bit the same.
Because, interesting. You see, because it's the same approach, but I choose to have the same approach. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting though that to you it sounds like the same kind of industry, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, in the end, I like this, that whatever you work, it's you, and you show up as fully you, because in the end we cannot go to the office and leave a part of ourselves behind for 8 hours every day. To me, that's
some people can and some people do. I'm even gonna say most people do, but it's just not a way that I think is a good approach to work for me specifically personally. So, which is also why I'm never going to do like an office 9 to 5, because exactly that aspect doesn't resonate with me, and I feel like it doesn't bring out what I'm good at, and it needs certain things that I'm not good at, and that is, for example, that, you know. So it's also a bit of a mindset for certain ways of how to approach work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's exactly what your clients love about you, when they, probably both clients, probably your yoga students, love the aesthetics. I certainly do. And people that you work with in brand consultancy, they probably love to be seen as a human.
Exactly. Well, I'm guessing so. I haven't asked them, but yeah.
Yeah.
To me, in my mind, the way that I approach the job, it just makes sense because it's organic and honest and real, and it also brings the most authentic results. But I can also imagine being a client, it also makes sense from that side of the river. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you ever have like a proper regular office job?
Yeah, a few. Not a long time. Well, not necessarily an office job, but before, I think let me just turn off my WhatsApp so it doesn't disturb us. Yeah. It's blowing up every 2 seconds. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, I was also diving into film production, and so for that aspect, I did some sort of an office job, and it didn't turn out to be what I wanted. And when I was really young, I was working in PR agencies for a couple of months as well, but it's just so crystal clear it's not for me, and I'm not for that as well. Like, it really goes both ways. You know.
Yeah, I've been through that too. I think 1.5 years ago was the last time that I tried to fit in.
Good. Good, bless your soul.
And I'm glad I did, you know. And I'm also happy what this job was, because I reflected about it just a few days ago. That's why I want to share it here now also, because there was nothing wrong about the job. I got paid well. I was fully seen by my boss. I had my boss. She was an amazing woman, an amazing founder of a really, really cool company with a really nice vision. We are still friends, you know. There was everything perfect about the job itself. I could not complain about having a dickhead boss or an ugly office, or I don't know. There was nothing. But and that was really nice for me to leave that kind of space on good terms, and just saying, hey, there's nothing wrong, here's nothing wrong, it's just not meant to be, and I just need to go and do something else.
Yeah. Is it just the setup of being in an employer kind of relationship that doesn't really work well for you?
I think I like working together with people, and it's also okay for me to support someone else's vision, because I love people, and I also love supporting people. But yes, I also have strong desire to make my own dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God, I just thought it's gonna.
We're still here. I just heard the glitch as well.
Okay. But what was more for me, I think, is to go every day into the same place at the same time. That's more what I cannot do. And
I totally feel you. I totally feel you. This is like one of the main reasons why I really created the business that I'm creating right now, is because it's crucial for me. I need to be able to work from a place that I choose, and it cannot be bound to one place. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And what else? Plus I also have a complete entrepreneur spirit. I come from a family of business people. Like everyone in my family does their own thing, and I feel like like a tiger in a cage when I need to stick to places and times and this and that. And I'm not saying that I don't like working. I love working, and I work on a Sunday, and I work sometimes in the night and sometimes in the morning and sometimes not at all. I just want to have this freedom to do this.
Yeah, it's just a matter of choice. You want to choose when you're going to invest your time and energy into your work. I totally get it. I'm quite similar like that. I would even say people like us probably work even more hours, you know, in relation to it's just a different kind of spirit, or just a different kind of setup, as opposed to the regular 9 to 5.
But for me, I also want to say that it's a sticky process for me to let go of this, even though I feel that I need something else, and this like fixed idea of how work needs to be, it made me sick. I felt like a beautiful rose, and every morning I come there, and then that's how I come home. Then
I can't relate.
What's wrong with it, but it made me sick. I could really feel how my soul was slowly getting more and more thirsty, and but still, when I then made the decision, I still had this kind of inner patriarchy. This I had to really, and still I'm working on it now, to not have like a negative self-talk when I'm working less or working more, or you know. This was really now for me. I think I'm slowly getting out of it and getting more comfortable, because I'm thinking about it less. But the last 1.5 years, I thought a lot about how I work, and it made me feel bad when it was not like people work in an office.
Yeah, it's a matter of expectation and judgment. When those things come into play within any kind of situation, then this happens.
Okay, but let's go back a bit to you and to your business and to what you are creating. So what are your plans for the future? What is on your vision board? What is your big dream? And can we help you with that?
a vision board. I can't share that right now. I think there's a palm tree and a sexy man and the beach. So, but also, the thing is, I don't really make like plans in a way that I'm going to say in this amount of time, this and this and that. Like I've been, oh, just a second, my dog. I'm so sorry. Geh mal raus. Geh mal raus. Du auch. Tschüss. Willst du rein? Okay. Komm mal rein. Excuse me. My puppy is nuts. Anyway, circling back. So, well, So the retreat, yeah, that's happening in 2 weeks. It's a virtual online retreat, and I'm co-hosting that with 2 other friends and teachers. I think I mentioned that before. And then my website is launching. There will be a web shop with my, I'm going to say, signature class, the Transformational Yin Release.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
Oh, you are?
Website, really. So what did you do for your website? You created video content of your yoga class. So you merged both of your passions and...
Exactly. You just worded that way better than I did before. So exactly what I did is bringing both of my services onto one platform, and they also correlate a little bit, right? So it's based, I think my catchphrase is, if you want to grow, evolve, expand, and accelerate, then this is for you. And this really works for an individual, you know, with the yoga, because I'm also working with therapeutic yoga application, right? So I'm really working with one-on-one clients. It's in-depth, it's therapeutic. So this is that sector, and the same thing applies also for brands and clients according to their business, right? So it's basically the same essence and the same soul into 2 different industries. And I didn't really plan for that. That just organically happened because it made sense, and I just brought 2 of the things together that I love and that I'm good at and that I want to share. And then it just kind of grew into what it is now. Yeah, and then I filmed the yoga courses. That was like a 1-woman kind of show, so I refilmed the whole thing, I think, like twice. You know, audio and camera and location, and there's so many things to think of, and it's the first time that I've done that without any help or any like camera people around.
So you were the camera woman, the model, the speaker in the, I don't know how is it called, in the back,
the host and the set designer and the editor. Well, I still have to like put on the editor hat. I haven't done that yet, so and then once I have, then everything will be online, and then I'm launching. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And was that something that only emerged out of the isolation situation at the moment, or did you plan that anyways?
Like both a little bit. I did plan that, but it definitely happened so fast, and so I think my vision just got really clear with the whole quarantine situation, because it was literally the only thing that I could really do that made me feel like I still have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You know, and it really gave me, I feel like quarantine, like the past few months, really gave me a sense of like clear direction of what I want to do and where I want to go. And there were some times maybe where I felt more like numb and had a more difficult time with it, but most of the time I actually felt great, because I'm an introvert as well. I can be alone in my house 7 days not seeing my friends and I'll be fine. Like that's not an issue for me. So I didn't really have a lot of issues with the whole social distancing kind of thing. Sure, to some degree, but like I said before, I just really used that time and energy then to really focus on what I want to create, and that really helped.
Yeah, I feel that too, and I think that's what many people on the planet are experiencing right now, that somehow this state of emergency cuts the bullshit and it gives a sense of urgency into your life, and you're just gonna go for it now do it.
Exactly. And also like it just, you're just gonna have to be really honest with yourself, because now you are sitting in this, yeah, sitting in a place and you really don't have any distractions around, and you can either feel sorry for yourself and be a victim and be bored and feel, you know, be in a space of waiting that when is this over and I can go back to normal, or my dog, or you can really be smart about it and use it in a way that it is helping you rather than being like in your way, you know. I feel like for me it's been also a gift rather than like cock blocking life. It has in many ways, but also it really gifted me the space and the time to really cut out the bullshit, like you say, and just makes things happen, you know. I feel like it made me wanting to create even more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's business-wise, it's also just very smart to create online classes, because then it's it's accessible for people who maybe usually cannot afford this.
Yeah.
You can reach more people. You can. Sorry, my neighbor, I think, is hanging up a picture or something. I don't know if you can hear it, but
it sounds kind of naughty. I'm not sure what's happening there.
yeah, I mean, people are busy. Yeah, so creating online classes makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you can stop changing your time against money, but you can change your energy against money, and that
For sure. It's passive income, and it also is a chance to really connect and build a community with people that are in different time zones, different countries. It's really like overreaching. Now, this is really a global, you know, a gift of globalization, basically, in a way that you're not limited to people that can come to the studio in your city.
Yeah,
you can really find a tribe online now with people that you resonate with. And I mean, people come to my Zoom classes from Greece now and from Ireland. That would have never been possible before.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool.
And definitely, yeah, in the end, you can also share how people can reach you, because I think it sounds so interesting. I mean, who doesn't want to create an online class with you or a video or something? Yeah. Let's talk about this in the end.
Yeah, for sure. I'll share my website and stuff.
I would like to know also, in your path of creating your own job and just going with whatever feels good for you, what were the biggest walls that you climbed over? What were like stones, you know, of limiting beliefs, self-doubt, fear, and whatever that were in your path that you just, maybe it took you longer, maybe it didn't, but you took that stone and you put it away so you could continue going? Like, can you share some of the learnings that you experienced on your path of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. And like, I'm going to be really honest here. I think it's important to also really emphasize that there are a lot of obstacles and a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of people who tell you this is way too dangerous, it doesn't make sense, you should do X, Y, you know, social conditioning. It's also very risky. It's very risky to deny a 9 to 5 and say, I'd rather focus my time and energy on this, but I'm not really making a lot of money right now, so I probably should do this. So, you know, it's high risk. And I think it's also, we just have to take that into accountability, that these kind of rocks in the way, like you say, these obstacles are part of it. And they also are training you to kind of build or like hack your mindset in a way that you don't take these kind of situations as a reason to then give up or obey or say, okay, maybe I'll just go with it then and go to the office or do this or that, but rather using it as like, let me put it this way, we all have anxiety and we all have fear and we all face the same problems to some extent, but I think the difference is how we respond to them. And if I have anxiety or limiting beliefs around things and I'm gonna respond to them in a way that I let them basically control my decisions or the way that I live life, then it's going to be a problem. But if I'm going to use them and let them it's good to have some sort of a respect and fear around these decisions as well, because you need to be smart and you can't be too risky with these kind of things as well. But at the same time, you can't listen to that if you want to move forward. Because there were many times where people told me that it's just too risky, I should rather do this or that. And in the beginning I did, but then I just got highly depressed and I hated it. And then I decided I'm not going to do it. So I think it's really, it's a matter of how you approach it.
Oh yeah.
Does that make any sense? Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And I think it's really good what you say. It's very important for everyone to understand that no one has a life without obstacles. And
oh fuck no.
Entrepreneur is just especially important to work through your own mind and through your own psyche to get a really strong mindset, to cut your own bullshit, to become clear, to become strong, to become dedicated, focused, independent. I think to become all of this is a very important part of being able to have a very successful multi-million-dollar business that we may or may not have one day, but there's a way to go there. If we would just get it handed now, maybe we would not be ready.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it feels good because it's at some point like we'll all stumble and fall, and some things will happen and they don't go your way and you think you have a great concept but then you don't, or you think, oh, this client, they will want me for sure, but then they don't hire you. And there's always situations that basically fuck up your plan, but also you can't let that then let it be the end of the story. You know what I mean? You just really have to be smart about things and be really sure, and also feel it in your gut that this is what you want to do. Otherwise it's really not worth it.
Yeah.
But if you do, and I do, it just came like crystal clear to me, then it's really also no other option either.
So let's talk a bit about the yoga industry and the wellness industry and people in the fields of healing arts, because that's especially also one topic I want to explore with this podcast. It's the synergies between business and spirituality. So on the one side, how can business be created more consciously, because that's what we need, but also how can conscious businesses, spiritual entrepreneurs be business savvy in a way that they can live from their job in any kind of way. And yeah, I feel that I don't know if the chicken or the chicken or the egg was first, but I feel like many spiritual entrepreneurs are having a hard time really standing in their worth. But at the same time, also somehow people who buy these services, the customers, they take it for granted maybe, or I just hope that in the future, I'm projecting a future for all of us where people who give the most of their heart in their work make the most money. I think that's how it should be. And I would like to know, how do you see the industry? I'm sure you also have like many friends and other spiritual entrepreneurs globally. Like, what do you see? What is there changing? Are spiritual entrepreneurs becoming more business smart? And is there maybe, what's your idea? What's your vision? What do you see there?
Yes, I definitely think that, especially in a time now where the online world is just getting, giving more and more opportunities, I do think that people are getting more business savvy, but I wouldn't really know because I can't speak for any other people. But what I can say is that it's a bit of a stigma in the whole industry. Like, I'm going to say the yoga and mindfulness, and really being in service, it still has a huge stigma that these things, that it's wrong to charge money for them, because like it's a very traditional practice, and it used to be in a kind of giving kind of manner, but this is like how many years ago. We're living in the present time, so it's the most logical thing that we're exchanging time, like it's an energy exchange. So if I'm gonna spend my time on helping someone, which is my job, obviously, you know what I mean? But it's still like in yoga, people still feel bad to charge a certain amount, or to charge at all, or should it be all for free? Or many people also expect that these kind of things, why does it cost money? Why is it so expensive? On the other hand, trainings and initiations are really fucking expensive to do, right? So it also doesn't really add up on that side of the story. I think we need to have a bit of a shift in awareness. And also, I mean, look at it this way, even social workers, they don't get paid enough, right? So everyone who is in service or helping other people, in many industries, people don't get paid enough. So same thing with yoga teachers or facilitators for meditations, or energy healing. It's a similar thing. Christ, or oh, did I just lose you?
For 1 second, but you're right here.
Okay. So yeah, I think there needs to happen a shift in. You can see the ears of my puppy, can you? There needs to happen a shift in awareness around the whole thing. And especially these kind of industries who are helping other people, and who are actually, this work can also be quite draining, right? Because you are working so close with people and you are helping people. So I'm very much, I think this should be also compensated on a level that feels right and that it deserves. But yeah, I mean, it's also, it also goes both ways. So I think if people are being constantly underpaid, it's not just because people don't pay them, it's also because they accept that and because they don't ask for more. So it's also your own limiting beliefs. What do I deserve? What can I charge? And we know as an entrepreneur, it's difficult in the beginning to really get clear on what's my number. What do I charge for an hour? Right? And then it feels like, oh, is that too much? Is that not enough? Like, defining your own worth, it's difficult in the beginning, putting in a number on it. So I think if people are having issues with finances in the yoga world, it's because of the stigma around the industry, and also because many of us still are conditioned or have this, I'm going to say, fucked up mindset that it comes from an undeserving place of being paid for their work, right?
Yeah. I think you mentioned two things that I have something to say about it.
Yeah, go for it.
I call it like the Picasso syndrome. This like that your hourly rate is not you being there for an hour, but everything it took you to be here for an hour.
Oh, I love that, for sure. Exactly. Absolutely.
And then, I have also worked in like big corporations and in a marketing kind of thing where actually, and there it's always in marketing strategy or how to create a product. The way to go is always like find a problem and solve the problem so you help people. Even someone who sells cheap ass ugly something that nobody needs pretends like they're helping someone because they're saving a problem.
Yeah, marketing psychology is.
Yeah. That's I mean,
that's what it is. The word. Oh, you still here?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. No, you go. I think I just cut out in a minute.
Yeah, that just came into my mind, you know, that is like helping people, I think, is what we actually all want. We are all humans and we all want to help each other, and some people actually do it with their job, and but I think, yeah, I have experienced that in all kind of product development process, you always try to lie to yourself, pretending like you're solving a problem for someone and helping them, even if the problem is, I cannot find a shoe for $1.99, please help.
Exactly. And then there is so many jobs that are actually helping people, but then they are undervalued still. So that's a bit of a glitch in the industry that I personally am hoping that people will expand their awareness around.
And I mean, the one side we cannot change. We cannot, slowly, maybe we can be one part of a collective and this will also spread, but I cannot change now that everybody thinks life coaching, yoga, whatever we do is can be paid a certain way, but I can stand in my worth and slowly, bit by bit, maybe educate people who want to work with me.
I love that. I love that.
We can focus on that we really, don't work for less than we deserve.
I love that, because when you start with yourself and you sit in your own worth, you will resonate outwards naturally anyway. And I don't think also that there is no one who isn't willing to pay accordingly for these kind of services. I just think as long as a part of you still believes it's true, you will attract these kind of people who will mirror back to you, oh, I'm not going to pay more than 10 euros for a yoga class or whatever ridiculous things it will be, because for some reason you start attracting them. And I have for a long time as well, right? But then when you really marinate in your own worth, I think this will naturally also dissolve, because there are people who are willing to, you know, put in what they get out anyway. So
yeah,
it also starts within.
Yeah, and also like shifting the whole perspective and the whole narrative into seeing it from the other direction, being like, hey, it's your body, it's your soul, it's your practice, and the most beautiful thing to invest in that and care a lot about that. And I think that's what I'm actually trying to do, like to create my own idea of the world and be so hardcore on that I forget about everything else. And my idea about the world is that, of course, everybody wants to invest in feeling amazing and living the most beautiful and fulfilling life they can, and then whatever it takes. And I mean,
exactly.
I'm a huge fan of scholarships. I have got so much out of scholarships. I'm so grateful for other people offering scholarships, and so that I always want to offer scholarships in my work, you know. It's not about money, really. If someone can stand with the open heart in front of me and say like, hey, what you do, I really want this, I really need it. At the moment, I cannot afford this price. These are the reasons. But if you would give me this product, this service, anyways, for a cheaper price, that's what I can give you. I think it would enhance my life in these ways. And are we going to make this happen? You know, if someone comes to me like this, I will always.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to start.
Absolutely. So much passion. It's sold already for sure. And also it's nice to really pass that on what we've received. I have received scholarships in the past as well. So of course, like, it's so nice to, you know, pay that forward and give that to other people, because we know how it feels to be in that situation of really, really feeling the fire and the passion for something that you want to learn or whatever it is, but you cannot afford it. And then, you know, it's of course, I will always offer that when I can, when I have programs where it's possible.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So you're gonna have a website soon. On the website there will be beautiful videos of your yin practice that we can buy. Then in 2 weeks a virtual retreat is starting that you're doing with 2 other friends and yoga teachers as well.
Right.
you want to share a bit more about that retreat? I'm a bit curious.
Oh,
Like,
I do. Like, I'm working on this. Like, it feels like 24 hours a day, so I'm really passionate about it. So it's gonna be a 4-day retreat with 3 classes, 3 hours per day, live. We'll do that via Zoom and or Instagram Live. But then on top of that, we're adding basically 14 days of extra bonus of like full access to all classes. So if the pace and the intensity of 3 full classes a day is too much for you, you should listen to your own feeling. And if you need more time, this is for you. If you don't really have time at that given date, then this is for you, right? So you can really join us and do it all live and do the whole high intensity, high pace kind of level and really get this in-depth retreat kind of vibe if you're down for it. But if you'd rather would have a more like soft and gentle approach and do maybe 1 class a day or whatever suits your lifestyle, then you can, right? And there will be so many things happening. So there's flow yoga, there's yin yoga, there is yoga nidra journeys, there's Osho dancing meditations, there's movement, there's a couple of extra little surprises as well. And we have it structured in a way that it's really like, it feels like a full retreat space, right? Because each day is dedicated to a specific topic. So we're starting with rooting, with grounding, then we're moving on to a more softer space. And wait, I just lost it. I've been talking about it all day. So it's root, transform, expand, and
accelerate.
Get this now, and I'm live. I've been designing the whole thing for, oh my God. Root, flow, transform, and expand. So that's what happened, right? And we're bringing in the chakras, we're bringing in the elements. So it is a high intensity retreat in a way that it's very diverse, because we're also adding in morning hacks. So we have basically a toolbox of how to create and also maintain a healthy morning routine, because it's really a setup for having a healthy and successful and happy lifestyle.
Okay.
Basically, day-to-day life.
Okay, I'm going to be very bold right now, and I'm going to ask if from all these amazing hacks, can you give us one now?
Hydrate, drink a lot of water. That is one of the hacks, and it's one of them, and it sounds, it's really plain and really simple. But let me tell you this, I have been testing myself. There is an app, I'm not going to give away too much now because it is part of the program, but there is an app and you can track basically how much you drink. And so I'm going to put it this way. I feel like either people who are already conscious of their health, they will probably think, oh, but I'm drinking enough. And I was one of them, and I haven't. I have been constantly dehydrated. Or there is people who are not even really conscious and they think it's not that important, but we know it is, right? Because really when you're dehydrated, you are prone to be depressed, to have brain fog, digestion is not good, skin is not good, you get depressed, and even anxiety levels can raise. So it is crucial to not be dehydrated, right? And for me, like I've been doing 3.5 liters for a couple of weeks, and I am not a morning person. I have a tendency to be like more sluggish and not the most creative and vital when I wake up. So, and this helps me so much when I drink right away before coffee, before anything else, a lot of water, and then do that throughout the day. So I can tell you this is time proven by myself and a huge community of people that if you do that for, let's say, even just the 4 days, you already will feel a huge difference. And that is one of the simple things to do. You know, there's other hacks, of course, in the program as well, but this is something really simple and crucial.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's very nice to start with maybe not start, but to also focus on the simple things. Because I think I don't know if they're really easier to implement, but I think it's nice to not be like, okay, now buy all of these supplements and then wake up 2 hours before the sun comes and da 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 da.
you can, you know, it's step by step, and starting simple, yes, but also it's not that simple, because even that is difficult for so many people. And what we want to do is really create a morning balance, a morning routine that can be maintained, because it's really only powerful if it's going to be long lasting, and it really sets you up for the day. So yeah, simple things like drinking water is a start, and then there's things that we're sprinkling in and adding that get a bit more in depth. You don't have to do that. We're giving a toolkit of things that you then can pick and choose and see what works for you in your lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Thank you for
So,
this little taste.
yeah, for sure. Drink a lot. So what was I gonna say? Right. So we have these 4 days with the elements, with the chakras. There's a whole concept behind the whole thing. So you can do it in 4 days. You also have the access of 2 weeks added completely for free to repeat the classes, to do them in a slower pace. And that will be, I will be hosting that, and also 2 of my good friends. And we started already posting on Instagram a little bit, but there will be a landing page to book, and you can also hit me up on Instagram if you have any more questions or anything. So yeah.
I would like to ask also a personal question. How
Yeah.
do you how is your personal yoga practice at the moment? Like, do you feel, there it feels a bit weird, or here it feels a bit weird, I'm going to do this yin posture a bit? Or are you like super structured that you need to do like every day the same? Or how do you practice at the moment?
I am a very flowy person, like in character as well. So it would be probably good for me to have a more Ashtanga-like mindset and do the whole, like do a series every day. But I'm not. I really practice very intuitively. So sometimes I practice a lot every day. Sometimes there are also even days when I don't have time to practice, or just like half an hour. So it really fluctuates with the lifestyle that I'm currently in. But I try to adapt it in a way that it doesn't have to. When I was younger, I thought I have to have a practice of at least an hour a day, but you don't. Like if you do it for like 20 minutes and you're practicing in a way that it serves you for that day, that's beautiful. Right. So my practice, it does really fluctuate. Sometimes I feel playful and strong, and I'll do like a super sweaty flow. Sometimes I just need like 4 yin postures, and that's it for the day. So it also comes to like listening to your own body and listening to what you need in that day, rather than I should practice this or that.
And can you tell me a bit about Bali? I want to go to Bali. I want to go to, everybody who loves yoga wants to go to Bali. I feel like, but at the moment I'm stuck on another island, and until at some point in the future I go there.
You're good. Yeah.
Bali magic with me right now. Like, what is so nice about there? Like, maybe you can remember like one special moment that was really Bali like, that you can take us back, or tell me about Bali. I wanna know.
Well, I mean, I'm in love with Bali. You can tell I can't stop smiling since you've asked me. And I was actually also in the midst of planning of like fully moving back, and then Corona happened. So this is how much I love it. And I still will at some point. We'll see when this all blows over, when things will realign. I don't know what the general hype around Bali is. I have a very personal relationship to the island, just because I've been like, throughout my 20s, I've been traveling a lot throughout Southeast Asia and Central America. And Bali always was a place that I felt drawn to go back to. It was very magnetic to me. And I even remember when I was super young, when I was a child, and I didn't even know about geography. I didn't know where or what Bali is. I was already speaking about it because I've been reading it and saw a photo or something. I was like, I want to go to Bali. And I didn't even know. And then like 15 years later, I ended up going there. And to me, it just feels although it is such a different culture and sorry about that. Sorry. Rosalie, come here. Come by here. 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 Come here. Come here.
Yeah, it's because you're from Bali now, and she's also from Bali, oder?
And she's from Bali, exactly. Ich mache hier gerade einen Podcast. Ja, genau. Geh mal raus mit. Geh mal raus. Die folgt dir jetzt eh nicht. Komm mal her. All right, we're back. So yeah, Bali is very special. I feel like you have to experience it for yourself for you to really feel the resonance. I mean, I don't have to speak about the obvious, that it's fucking beautiful and the lifestyle is just, it's very comfortable to live there as well, for very specific reasons. But I mean, this is not really important to me. The culture and the people are just fucking super kind, and even just the nature, like just thinking about the rice paddies makes my heart pound harder. So it's just, there's something about it. There's something about it. And for me, it's just a very personal thing that I feel like when I get there, my breathing is just more expansive. I feel more healthy. I feel more creative. I mean, my dream is just to have a house there and to, you know, that's all I want to do actually. So
now we had a little glitch again. So your dream is to have a house there?
Oh, my dream is to just have a house there and adopt all the Bali doggies, Bali puppies, and give them a home and just live there and create and, you know, make it my home. And I will, like, I know I will.
How is the housing market in Bali? How is it possible to buy a house there, or?
I don't know about buying. I think you might have to marry a local or something. But you can lease easily. It's always smart to be friends with locals.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a Bali local friend?
Oh, I have many Bali local friends. I'm good friends with my tailor because I also design clothes, and yeah, we're still in touch sometimes.
Tell me about the tailor. What's his name? What does he love?
Oh, the tailor, his name is Dikih, and he's a very nice man, and he's making all my fashion dreams come true. Like, he would come to my house, my villa. We call houses villa in Bali. So he comes to the villa with a scooter and he picks you up and he brings you to these amazing fabrics of spaces where you can buy fabrics, and he, you know, we spend days and days together of designing and eating food and just like doing all the clothes, and yeah, we're friends as well. He's a cool dude. I can recommend if you need a tailor.
What's his name again?
Dikih.
Dikih.
Yeah. It's probably an alias. He might have a local name as well that he didn't share with me.
Ah, so Dikih is then the name he shares, and then he has another name that he doesn't share.
I'm just assuming because sometimes there will be a more Western sounding name, and then you can assume that they also have a Balinese name. Yeah.
I have one friend here from Nigeria, and she also has two names. Her like traditional name is Yukea, but she says, "Call me Wendy."
Call me John, baby. All right.
Oh, that's so nice. I really hope that one day we see in Bali. One day we can jump through a rice paddy.
We can jump to the rice paddy, go to the beach for sure. I love driving the scooter, so you can hop on mine as well if you're not comfortable driving the scooter. We'll have fun.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
So let me check my notes here if we've been to
Check
every.
your notes.
And while I do that, you can think about if there's something else that's really dear to your heart that you feel like it's very important that it gets shared right here, right now, today in this podcast. Let me, yeah.
Well, I feel like spontaneously, intuitively, I would just share like 3 deep belly breaths with everyone who's listening right now. Inhaling into the belly, feel it expand. And ground yourself as you exhale.
Oh, can we do it 2 more times maybe?
We do it together. It's such a nice feeling to just envision that everyone who's listening is doing it right now.
Yeah.
Place your hands on your lower belly. And then feel it expand and soften as you inhale. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Fully exhale, release all tension. And you can blink the eyes open. Drop the shoulders, soften the jaw, come back into your body.
That's good. Yeah, I feel different.
It always has the trick. It's just, I even have to remind myself of doing that several times throughout the day. We're holding our breath so many times. It's just like so easy. Just do that and you feel different already. It's a shift of energy.
Yeah, pranayama is just magical.
Oh, it is. It definitely is.
Let's talk about this another day. I invite you again.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah, for sure.
So, Rosalie, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for coming to my podcast. It was my pleasure. Thank you from my heart for being yourself. Like, it's such an inspiration. I think for me, really, it's really, really good to see you existing in the world and how you do things and what you do, and yeah, also how you do things. Continue doing that. I wish you all the best, and I cannot wait to see everything else that you're creating and sharing and birthing. And yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much for inviting me. I was very humbled and happy to come onto your podcast, and you hold space in a very nurturing and very spacious way. So it's really, really nice to have a conversation with you, and I'll be back for sure if you'll have me.
Of course. And yeah, everything else people can find in the show notes now. They can find the email address to work with you, or however they can contact you. What's your favorite, like, social media? Where can people find you?
So I think easiest is Instagram. So I think you'll link it in your thing here, right? But I'm just going to say again, the website, it will be online in 2 to 3 weeks probably, and you'll find all the information in more detail about my work there. But just reach out if you have any questions or you want to get in touch. I'll give you my email address. Oh, you have it already, obviously. So. Yeah. Any channel that works for you, you can reach out anytime. Be happy to hear from anyone who feels like reaching out, for sure.
Awesome. So I'm sure we see again. I'm sure we hear from each other. And yeah, let's see if it's in Bali or Berlin or wherever.
Or both. Let's dream big. Maybe even both.
Villas.
Villas, all that stuff. Villas and puppies and beaches. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Bye.